Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Outlaw Country. Another day in the woods, and I picked quite the area to go into today. I have two cameras that I set up in here about 6 weeks ago or so, and I want to go in and pull the cards from them and get the photos and whatnot onto my phone. But it's a steep hike in here, so gonna put the legs and the back to a bit of a test. My back's feeling definitely feeling better, not 100%, but pretty darn close. So anyways, we're gonna head in here, get down to the creek and follow the creek and get onto the main game trail that I followed and where I set my cameras up. Maybe I'll get down to the creek and take a little break and get a couple emails read for you guys because they keep pouring in. I keep thinking I'm getting ahead, but I'm not. Anyhow, it's early morning and it's, again, my least favorite time of the year. It's early morning and I'm wearing a t-shirt because it's warm. Even in this valley here, it's pretty warm, so whatever, it is what it is. Got to get through summer so that we can get into fall, my favorite time of the year. Anyhow, I'm gonna rock and roll. Let's get down to the creek and we'll hammer out a couple of emails for you guys. So I hope you all had a good week, or having a good week. Hope you're able to get out to the woods if it's what you love to do, or whatever it is you love to do. As long as you're out doing what you love, that's all that matters, right? Life's short. So this is an old washout. And there used to be, well, in the fall, there was water running down this, but it's dried up now. You can see the water eroded all down through the side of the hill here. This is some good rugged country, man, let me tell you. Some big old fir trees in here. Some big old fir trees and some big cedars. Some rock bluffs. It's a steep valley. It's a tight valley. And so up at the top of this ridge here is where the main game trail is that I got on. And then I hiked that game trail kind of to the north here. And put my cameras up. So speaking of game cameras, so I've got quite a few game cameras now. Oh man, I got off onto the wrong trail here. So speaking of game cameras, I have quite a few different game cameras now, and I've done quite a few reviews for these different cameras for you guys. And there's a few cameras that I'm really impressed with, that I really, really like. And one of them is the Garda Pro cameras. And I believe that Steve did not really a review. Steve won't review stuff. But I believe Steve, oh man, hang on. Oh. Let's see what I gotta go through here. Look. Hands and knees. Hands and knees to get up through some of this shit. Holy cow. You gotta be careful here, man, on these old rotten logs. Hands and knees to get you guys the footage. This is ugly. Ugly, look at this. I should have gone further up the draw. Anyhow, gosh. As I was saying, as I was trying to say, I believe Steve did a quick little blurb about the Garda Pro cameras. And they're a great camera. So Garda Pro emailed me the other day and said that, hey, we have a brand new camera coming out. And we have a brand new model coming out. Would you do a review on it for us? So I said, well, send me the information. I'll have a look at it. Maybe, maybe I will do a review of that camera for you. I can't even get up here. It's so steep. Hang on a second here. One thing at a time, because I got to get up here and I can't get through here. I want to finish saying what I'm trying to say. Garda Pro got a hold of me, emailed me, said, hey, would you consider doing a review of these new cameras? Garda Pro makes a great camera. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I would. And so they're going to send me a couple more cameras. And, well, they're going to send me one for sure, maybe two. And I'm going to try to do a giveaway of at least one of those cameras, maybe give them both away, if Garda Pro will allow me to. So I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I love having the opportunity to give stuff back to you guys. Okay, the bugs are coming out. Man, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Holy cow. I forgot. I totally forgot how steep this area was. This is, you're almost on all fours going up here or down here. This is wicked. This is wicked. So I'm glad you guys all tuned in for the short little video that I made for the Acassos and our lucky winner, Brandon Roberts. I still haven't, as of right now, I still haven't got an email from Brandon. So I can't email out his Acasa night vision goggles, but I will. And if Brandon doesn't, I'll probably give Brandon about a week to email me. And if I don't hear from Brandon in a week, Brandon Roberts, if I don't hear from Brandon in about a week, we will redo the draw. Oh my word. So a few months back, I don't know if you guys recall, a few months back I was in here and I got kind of spooked by a cougar. I was hiking along and on the game trail, and the bugger was, he was sitting there, just sitting in an area kind of like that. He was just sitting there on a little rock bluff, absolutely motionless. And he did bolt. He took off once he saw me. Scared the living shit out of me. But yeah, he took off, but it still scares you. Cougars are one animal that I really don't like. I don't like grizzlies either, because grizzlies always try to eat me for some reason. But at least grizzlies are somewhat predictable. And I say that, I use that term loosely, somewhat. But cougars are not predictable whatsoever. You know, wolves for the most part will stay away from you. Human beings. Cougars, not so much. Not long ago, here on the island, there was, whoa! Almost bit it. Ugh. Come on. Jeez. Not long ago here on the island. Just want to try to show you guys what I'm trying to come down and through here. I don't know if I should be filming and trying to talk as I'm hiking, or if it's annoying to you guys, or what. Because let me know if you'd sooner me just hike to my area. Something smells bad. That's not good. If you'd sooner me just hike to my area with a little bit of footage here and there, let me know, okay? I want your feedback. I try to kind of hike as I go, so you guys can see what I'm going through and where I'm at, but sometimes that don't work out so good either, because I fall and trip and stumble, but don't worry, I would be falling and tripping and stumbling no matter what. No matter what. Alright, it should be a little easier going now that I'm back at the creek again. Okay, so there was a video that came out on the local news here a few months ago maybe, from the island in a place called Tofino, which is fairly close to, it's fairly kind of in the same vicinity of where my cabin is. And it was for sure one lady, maybe two ladies, or a guy and a girl in a hot tub had a rental place at a cougar at dark, and they were doing a selfie video just sitting in the hot tub having a drink, and a cougar was right behind them, like 10 feet from the hot tub, prowling, kind of like sneaking around behind them. It was pretty spooky. It makes you realize what cougars can actually do. Anyhow, I think ooh, it's a little bit cooler down here at the creek bed, that's for sure. I think I'm going to take a little break here, get a couple of emails read for you guys, and then what I got to do here, just so you know, I got to head up the creek here to get around this rock bluff, head up the creek here a little ways, and there's a game trail that comes off this mountain, comes down through the creek, goes up the other side of the mountain, and then it heads up to the high mountain, which is way up there. It's a real high one. It's actually still got snow on it right now, so I'm not heading to the top of that mountain, but I want to get on that game trail, that main game trail, and that's where my cameras are. I checked my pin drop on my GPS on my Garmin, and I'm still about 3 miles from the cameras, so I've got a little ways to go. But anyways, let's get a video out here, or let's get a video out. Darren, let's maybe get your brain working. Let's maybe get the brain working first. I feel like sometimes my brain just doesn't function properly. You ever have that happen? All right, let's get set up here and do an email or two. All right. The bugs aren't terrible right now. They're not great, but they're not terrible. Could be worse. Certainly could be worse. It's funny how for me, I don't know. I'm sure different people have different. You know what? I'm gonna sit right here. That's way better. A little backrest. I'm sure certain people have different things that they do that to de-stress, unwind, whatever. You know, people work out at the gyms or whatever, and whatever it is you do. For me, I can be having the worst day ever, and if I just get out into the woods, into the wilderness, I just feel so much better. It's just very relaxing and calming and grounding to me, and I love it. I do. I love it. I'm gonna try. Got a good friend of mine. I got a good friend of mine that he follows. He's a really good friend. Known the guy for, I don't even know, 20 years maybe, and at least. And he's one of my hunting partners, and he also follows the YouTube channel. And you know, I think he follows it because of the outdoor stuff, content, some of the hunting stuff and whatever. But I also know that he follows it because of the forest people, and him and I have talked a little bit about it. Not super in depth, but we will. We're gonna, maybe this hunting trip we'll get into it one night. But I know he follows it also for that reason. And anyways, he texted me after my last video, and when I think maybe it was the video, it wasn't the last one, maybe it was the one when Mrs. Outlaw and I were up the lake, up at my fishing lake, and he said, "Hey man, let's you and I get up there and go up there and spend a night up there and see what happens, see what goes down." And Steve had mentioned last year that he wanted to try to do that as well, and he's obviously just too busy, like just too much on the go, no time. Anyways, my good buddy, whose name I'm not going to mention, he said, "Let's go up there, spend the night." So I said, "All right, man, you want to do it? I'll do it with you." But I said, I don't want to be responsible for whatever happens or doesn't happen. I want zero responsibility for it. I said, if we happen to run into these things, if we happen to run into these people, there is no turning back. There is no rewind button. There's no unseeing or unhearing what you may see or hear. And he's like, that's okay. No problem, dude. I'll sign the waiver. And I'm like, all right. Careful what you wish for. So we might do that. We might head up into the lake this summer. Maybe find a weekend, him and I can go up there and spend a night. Take the cameras, spend a night up there. And see what happens. All right. Here we go. Darren, my name is Bill W. I have watched your Outlaw Country for some time now, as well as the Facts by How to Hunt videos. I find all the videos very intriguing. I have never seen a Bigfoot Sasquatch as far as I know, but I did see something once that I cannot dismiss. A few years ago, my cousin and I, both in our 70s, were doing some gold panning on a stream in the mountains of southeast Tennessee. Along this stream, there's a foot-wide vein of quartz that traverses the water and up the side of the bank. We thought it'd be a good place to dig in the sand along the stream. We were digging and panning again and again. There were some black sands, but only specks of gold. Nothing to really consider. During the morning, my cousin and I got separated somewhat. I was farther downstream than he was, and I was taking a break sitting creekside. I know you have felt it, and so did I. That feeling of being watched. I looked around and saw nothing of particular interest, but up on the side of the ridge to my right, I thought I saw movement. I really didn't think about it and didn't pay any attention to it, but every now and then I would look over that way and saw nothing. A little later I looked over again and saw something that wasn't there before. All I saw was a black, somewhat round something, assuming now that it could have been a head. From my perspective, I would guess its height about 4 feet off the ground. Now, I don't think it was a bear. There are bears in these mountains, of course, but with my limited experience, the ones I have seen are more afraid of me than I am of them. They go wandering around searching for food, but they don't play hide and seek. They don't play hide behind the tree, as this thing was doing. The curiosity got the best of me, and I put the pan down, got up and started walking down the stream to maybe get a better look. When I got to the point of a better angle, I saw nothing at that tree. I walked a little further and still saw nothing. I walked to my right where the incline of the ridge started and saw nothing. I finally gave up and went back to where I left the pan, totally bewildered. Now, whatever this was could have escaped my line of sight and disappeared into the foliage. But foliage while I was having to watch where I stepped. But there wasn't much of that, and it was a sunny afternoon. I walked back upstream. Where my cousin was and told him what I saw. He looked at me like I was from Mars, laughed and said, yeah, it was probably just a Bigfoot. We seldom talked about it afterwards, but sometimes he would kid me about the whole thing. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a Bigfoot, but now I don't know what I saw that day. Keep up the good work, Darren, and best regards, Bill W. You never know, Bill. You never know, my friend. How many times... hang on one second, you guys. How many times have I... there's lots of times you think you see something and it's nothing, right? Lots of times. But then there's also, on the flip side, lots of times that you see something and it is something. And, these beings from all the emails that I've read and from all of the encounters I've heard from other people, these beings have a tendency to play the hide and seek game, peek behind trees and do one of these, and you know, that's a natural thing for a predator, right? A key predator like that, that's what they do. Okay, just like I said about the cougars, you know. So very well could have been Bill. You never know, man. You never know. All right, we're gonna mark that one as red, and on to the next one. Hi Darren, it's G. You probably know the channel name. I'll go over this as quick as I can. We were visiting the structures because I did an experiment with 6 apples and 5 were gone, so they left 1. We were checking the bottom area, known as area 1, when we heard this loud commotion. It kept going on. We ended up going down to see what it was. It's an area we haven't done yet of forest. It's absolutely beautiful in there. Climbed over the gate and went in saying nothing. Then it started again. 1 to my left. Then one out of nowhere, one to my right, which was loud. It continued until I spoke on video. All went quiet. It seems there was some dispute, or they were communicating with each other, because we had them on both sides. For some strange reason, I don't feel danger from them. I've enclosed a small video clip of it, and the full is 15 minutes long, which will be on my channel. You can share the short video clip if you wish to. Unfortunately, I had a microphone on, so it blocks most of the outside noises. So I had to turn the volume up while editing the video. Won't be using a mic again. Lesson learned. What an incredible experience, the power behind its voice. They know me. I've never been going there long. They know me. I've been going there long time. I have a feeling now that they stay down in this large area during the day and come up to the structures at night. Saying that, Darren, I did my first night investigation above them at the structure site 1 week prior. I'll not keep you. I know you're a busy guy. Kind regards, G. Northern Ireland Sasquatch. Thanks, G. And I do have the video the short clip that G sent me. I made a note in here. I'll add that video right now.
Snapped and broken there, twisted.
All right, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? Appreciate it, G. Like to hear more from you, man. And wild, eh? All over the world. Ireland, Australia, Germany, everywhere, right? It's unbelievable. Okay, we're gonna do one more and then I'm gonna roll because I'm getting eaten alive. And you guys all know just how much I friggin' hate bugs. More than anything in the world. Anyhow, let's do one more here. Hello, Darren. I want to start by telling you that you're doing a great thing by sharing people's stories of Bigfoot. I have a friend that wrote into you, and then another member of our community wrote in shortly after Rose did and shared his story with you. I don't want to give too much information about where I was when I seen these beings, because I do believe they need to be left alone and not bothered by people. I'm 67 now, and although I do still hunt and fish, I don't go out as often or for as long as I used to. But I still do go out and provide for my family and the elders in our community. I also worked for 20 years as a hunting guide when I was a young man, and the wilderness is my home. Like you, it's where I feel at peace. I try to keep this as short as I can, but I'm not very good writer or typer. The first time I saw signs of the Bigfoot people was when I was 16 years old, and I was moose hunting late in the fall. I was at a hunting cabin that my father and uncle had built and hunted from for many years. I was there with my cousin for a couple of nights, and we woke up one night to something pounding on the side of our cabin at the back corner. We both woke up and I grabbed a flashlight and my gun, and cousin did the same. We heard the pounding one more time, and then a long, deep, growling sound. And then we could hear the Bigfoot walk away from the cabin. We both knew it was one of these people, not a bear, because the way it walked, you could hear it was on 2 feet, not 4. We had a hard time sleeping that night after that because we were scared it was going to come back. The next morning, we both went outside with our guns and looked for the tracks. And we saw them at the back corner where the pounding was coming from. They were Bigfoot tracks, just like a human footprint, but 4 times the size. Its footprint was literally 2 of my boots together. And you could see in the snow where it came into the cabin, banged on the roof, knocking the snow off the corner of the cabin, and walked away. The roof of the old cabin wasn't too high, but it was higher than either of us could reach, and this thing pounded on it hard. Ed and I did our hunt that day and went back to the cabin for the night. Just before bed, I went outside to pee. And as I was standing there, I saw something move a little off in the timber. in front of me. I watched the spot for a minute or so, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this Bigfoot appeared in between 2 pine trees. It was staring right at me. I could see its face clearly. I could see its huge dark eyes and his mouth. I could see the wrinkles in his forehead. He was massive, and I could see his eyes moving a little bit, his nose twitching, but other than that, he didn't move a muscle. He just stared me down. I slowly took a step backwards towards the cabin door, and as soon as I moved, this big guy vanished right in front of me. I turned and ran to the cabin door and closed it behind me. Ed said, "What's going on?" I told him I saw the Bigfoot in front of the cabin. He was watching us. Sorry guys, apologize. I could have swore I heard a huff like a bear. I apologize. He was watching us. Ed grabbed his gun and went to the door to look around, but this thing was gone. We finished our hunt and never saw him again. My father and uncle had told us kids about the Bigfoot around our community and around the hunting camps, but neither of us had ever seen one or any sign of them until that day. 2 years later, I was at the camp again alone for a moose hunt for a couple of days, and I was hunting the shore of a small lake with a big meadow at the end of it. Just before dark, I saw something black come out of the trees on the left side of the meadow. So I grabbed my gun, looked through my scope, hoping it was a moose. But as I got the scope on it, I saw it was a Bigfoot. But this one wasn't very big. Definitely smaller than me. It walked out into the meadow, about 100 yards from the trees, and knelt down in the middle of the meadow at the creek. A few seconds later, I heard a very loud call. Kind of like a moose, but it wasn't a moose. The small one stood up and looked back at the timber, and then knelt back down again at the creek. All of a sudden, I hear trees breaking and crashing and a grunting sound. And this huge one steps out into the meadow and makes a sound that sounded like talking, but I couldn't understand any words. The small one stood up and ran back towards the big one. What I gotta tell you is it was so fast. It was incredible. This thing made that 100 yards in a split second, effortlessly. Within a second or two, it was in the trees and they were both gone. There was an open hill above there that went up to the open tundra area. And I saw these two beings come out of the trees at the top of the hill, run across the tundra for probably a mile. And they did it so fast, it was truly hard to believe. Just before they went out of sight, I looked through my scope at them. The brush in the tundra is all of 6 feet tall. The little one I couldn't see. The big one towered over the brush. It stopped at the top of the hill and turned and looked in my direction and then disappeared. I went back to the cabin for the night, and that's when things got crazy and scary. I was sitting at the table having some tea when the same call I heard at the meadow. And by the way, the lake is a few miles from the cabin. Anyhow, I hear the call, and it's not very far away. I grabbed my gun and went to the door. But before I got to the door, I hear a loud bang on the side of the cabin by my bunk. I thought the wall was coming down. This thing had got from where it called to my cabin in just a couple of seconds. I gotta say, I was scared shitless. I felt trapped in that cabin, and I was all alone. I had my gun in my hand and opened the door, ready to shoot whatever was there, if I had to. I walked out and looked around the side of the cabin, and nothing. I slowly walked to the back of the cabin, peeked around the corner, nothing. But I did see tracks again. I looked around, but I couldn't see it anywhere. This went on all night. I'd go in the cabin, within a minute or two, it would bang on the roof. I'd go outside, look, it was gone. I stayed up all night, no way I could sleep. I just kept the fire going and sat there with my flashlight on. At that point, I was too terrified to go back outside. In the morning, I packed up and left for home. I told my father what had happened, and he said, maybe don't go back to that camp. Maybe it's time for a new camp somewhere else. Leave it to them, he said. 2 weeks later, me and Ed decided to go get the stove and a few other things out of the old cabin that Dad and Uncle had built and find a spot to build a new camp. We got to the cabin and it was completely destroyed. The logs were in a pile. The roof collapsed. We couldn't salvage anything out of the cabin. And to be honest, all we wanted to do was get out of the area for good and never return. As we were heading back to the trail where the truck was, both Ed and I saw this Bigfoot crouched down on the hill behind the cabin, looking in our direction. Ed went to raise his gun and I put up my hand and grabbed it and said, "No, let's just go. We're not meant to be here, Ed." That was the last time either of us hunted that area or even went close to there. We found other areas to hunt and never had a problem again. I have several other stories that I could share with you, Darren, but I don't want to take too much of your time. You have a great YouTube channel, and I like hearing other people's stories of Bigfoot, as well as your own personal experiences. We've known about them our whole lives, but it's funny, we know nothing about them. They are an amazing creature, and I wish we knew more. Thanks again for allowing me to share. People in our community talk about outlaw country all the time, and how nice of a person you are. Talk again soon. Adam Henry. Thanks, Adam, for the kind words, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Holy shit, that would be pretty terrifying. I don't care. Obviously, you're a hunting guide too, you said. And I don't care how experienced you are to be. It's bad enough when there's somebody with you. You're always comfort in numbers, right? That would be terrifying enough for you and your cousin. But holy shit, to be alone in a situation like that. I've had it happen, yeah, as well. But it is terrifying, man. You feel absolutely, completely helpless. And it's terrifying. It's bone-chilling terrifying. That's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm going to get a hold of you. And we'll have a chat for sure. I'd like to know where you're at if you share with me. And who it is that in your community that also emailed me. I'd like to know that. I'll give you a call. I appreciate it. I appreciate the share. I would give anything to sit down with a, even if it's on a voice call or whatever. So Adam, if you're watching this, with yourself and a few other elders of the First Nations communities, because I think there's a serious link there between the First Nations and these people, and I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about, like everybody else, I know nothing about these beings other than they're there. All right, they are out there, and the sooner you accept it, and open your mind to learning, the more you'll learn about them. But I think there's a connection there between the First Nations people and these creatures. So I'd love to talk to a few of you. So if you can make that happen, Adam, or maybe you want to have a phone call, I'll reach out to you, right? I'll send you an email, and maybe I'll share you my number, and maybe give me a call. Appreciate it. Anyhow, I'm going to rock and roll because the bugs are nuts. As I mentioned, we're maybe going to do a night up at the lake here in the next couple of months. It's mid-June now, so July, August maybe. We'll try to get that done. It's going to be a busy summer, but I thank all you members for your support. I'm going to continue to give back to all you members and you subscribers as much as I can. As I said to you before, the membership, the donations from the members, becoming members of Outlaw Country, I use that money to pay for shipping and products that I can, mugs, cutting boards that I can give away to you people, because I wish I could give everybody one. I really do, but I just can't. And I wish that I had more things to give away to you people, because I gave away the Acaso Seymours and the other night vision, and I don't like hearing people say, boy, I wish I never win nothing. I wish I would have won. And I wish I could give everybody something, but I just can't. But anyways, I appreciate all the subscribers, all the members, all your support so very much. It's what keeps me going. It's what keeps the channel going. So thank you. And I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a great day. Be safe and be kind. Be a good person. It's pretty crazy. When I was reading those emails, could have swore I heard a bear. Bears make a real distinct sound, like a huffing sound. when they're pissed. I've had it several times, obviously. Mrs. Outlaw had it a couple of times on a couple of our hikes. She'd come around a corner and there'd be a bear there, scare the shit out of her. Could have swore I heard one, and maybe I did. Like I say, often bears are generally speaking, more scared of us than we are of them. They're generally more scared of us than we are of them. It's when they have their young. It's when they have their young, or late in the fall. Because late in the fall they're feeding. They got to fatten up for hibernation, so that's when they're dangerous. And they're dangerous protecting their young, as everybody would be. Right? Well, I'm glad the back's feeling better. I'm glad the back's feeling better because I want to get out. I got to put on a lot of miles here in the next 2 months. I'm going to start increasing my hikes because I got to put the miles on and make sure my legs are in shape, my back's in shape for hunting. Because my hunting trip is no joke. It's a serious hunt. Anyhow, so I'll be starting to put some miles on for sure, and get into some steeper and steeper country. And the steep country is really good. Where I hunt's not super steep, but it's steep enough. And the steep country is really good for the legs and cardio. So. All right, I got to work my way up the creek here, you guys. I'm very close to the trail now. Very close to the game trail now, so I'm just going to work my way up the creek here.